What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Try Time podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And you join us for episode 66 now, which these have been flying through, given we were on about, 20 odd when we started back this post-hiatus.
Yeah, I'm going to say we are getting through. It's definitely our longest consistent run where we've done one. We've done one now every week since November, start of November. Like, it's a long time.
Probably something like that, yeah. And it's our first Wembley since we've come back.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Not that we went, but,
no,
expensive trip out when only one of our teams had any sort of involvement in the day.
Yeah, and, I mean, in the end, we wanted 3 teams to win, and them 3 teams all lost, so...
I mean, in fairness, Sheffield, we probably expected. Like, that was more a hope in hell than anything. Just so Whitfield don't go unbeaten in everything this year.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of were rooting for the underdog in every game, really, weren't we? I think.
I mean, I don't know if there necessarily was a defined underdog heading into the men's final, but...
I think there was. I mean, it was narrower than the 1895 final, but I think Wigan were expected to win, and in the end, they did. And I mean, Warrington didn't really... I mean, do we want to start on that? Do we say just start on the men's final?
Well, we might as well. We've segued perfectly into it.
Yeah, I just think Warrington, maybe, I don't know, the occasion got the better of them, just didn't quite turn up at the best. I think if they had done, Wigan were potentially there for the taking. I don't think Wigan were great by any means. It were, Warwick moments of brilliance from Wigan, or Warwick just some sloppy defending for a couple of the tries. And, that French try, it's like a crash over. It shouldn't be happening.
Dazzling steps, according to Jonathan Davies.
Yeah, well, it's like, what Bevan French is going to do? He's great at it, like defend it. You know what I mean? In that level, we've seen, I've seen Danny Houghton make last-ditch tackles that, 10 times harder than that one. That I think it might have been Drinkwater who needed to make it. Like in Challenge Cup final,
Drinkwater just sodded off.
Well, a
different postcode.
Drinkwater just didn't bother with him, but and I think that potentially was the problem with a lot of the Warrington attack. I think whenever Williams had ball, it looked like something could happen, and Dufty as well. To be fair, I thought Dufty had a good game, but I just feel like, I think going forward, I don't think Drinkwater will be there next year. I'd be very surprised.
I was quite surprised he played full stop, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of them, really. But yeah, I don't think he offers. I think that's a position where if they improve that can take them to that next level of being up there with Saints and Wigan. I think
potentially so.
Because I think the pack's got its full of stuff. I mean, you're losing Nicholson to NRL. It's probably not ideal, really, but no doubt there's other players there who are ready to come through. I mean, it's a decent, I really like the pack. I think it's got a lot of stuff going on. I know you're not sure on the hooker rotation necessarily with Sam Powell. I know you're not the biggest fan of Sam Powell, but...
Yeah, he's not a player I necessarily think adds a lot to that team. But aside from that, he's a reasonably strong pack, and it's hard to argue with anyone else in that position, really.
Yeah, true. I think the pack's fine. Just get a couple of the sort of key areas sorted out, and I think they can be there or thereabouts going forward. And they didn't disgrace themselves. I mean, it wasn't like it were an absolute whitewash, which at one point I thought it could have turned into in that second half, but it didn't. So
yeah, it didn't look great for periods, but
yeah. But what do you reckon? Now, this is the talking point, or at least the initial talking point. About the refereeing performance and the sin bins early down. I mean, we were absolutely flabbergasted by them both, weren't we, when we were watching it?
I mean, we've said it before, we'll say it again. Welcome to episode 147 of the Chris Kendall Show, which, at this point, I'm pretty sure has the same theme tune as the Muppets. It's that comical.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first one, it's never a card.
Neither of them are, let's be honest. He done one, so he had to do the other.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he realised that.
The Warrington player could have just breathed on the Wigan man's head and it'd have been a yellow for an eye shot. It was stupid.
And then it just, what it did, though, is it didn't give any team an advantage necessarily. It didn't, because they both were down. It just made that first sort of 15 minutes of the game a bit clunky and like it's not. It didn't get into the flow until.
Do you not think the whole thing was quite stop-start for a final?
Yeah, I think I actually think the women's game in the first 20 minutes of that did it really well. And I know obviously you can't really help how the game goes to a degree, but completely.
But at least it flowed. It didn't become the Aaron Moore show.
Yeah, the referee you didn't really notice that, like in terms of penalties and knock-ons and things wasn't happening. It was just a flowy game of battling for territory. And you just didn't get that in men's final at points. I think it were a bit clunky, like you say. And
I'd say the same about the 1895 actually as well. Like that, where the game did stop, that was because of actual handling errors rather than blowing for silly penalties.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously Wakey scoring a million tries or whatever. It stopped quite a lot in that second half.
I mean, I don't really count those as stoppages, given that we can't really have much choice on that. But yes.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything else you want to say on Challenge Cup final, or do you want to segue into 1895?
I think, to be honest, I think we all mostly saw it. It wasn't.
Oh, it's no.
It wasn't that cracking. It's not a final for the ages.
No, I mean, yeah. I think we kind of if I would have predicted, put down my prediction for what I thought would have happened in that Wakey game against Sheffield, kind of went how you'd expect. It went how a lot of Wakey's games this season have gone, where they're kind of getting put to the sword early on and they don't start well at all. This Wakefield time. I mean, we saw it in semi-final against Bradford. They were behind here against Sheffield. And then it kind of was what they managed to do is the score tries at the right time to Wakefield. Like they scored just on the hooter at half time, just sent them in that extra little bit up. And then after that, you just knew they were going to run away with it, which they did. And which is what they've done all year. What is the
impact of their star man and the best player in the championship?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I think
for anyone who doesn't get the joke, it's Kai Rodwell.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Kai Rodwell is good, obviously. I've never said he's not. I think he's the best, middle, probably the best forward in Championship. I think he is. Don't think he's necessarily the best player. I actually think, you're looking at the final. I think like a Josh Griffin showcase there that he can still do it in Super League. I think, which is interesting going into next season.
I certainly knew that from the back end of last season, though, because he was one of the few players at Wakefield that kind of really stood up and.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah, point.
Yeah, definitely. I think out of that sort of aging back row loose, I think he's probably the one that I'd be looking to keep. I think Pixie, he's been a great servant to the sport as a whole, but I think it's probably time for him to step down to Championship. Probably same with Ashurst, although I wouldn't mind him. I get, captain, keep hold at captain, keep him in a sort of role. He's probably not eating up much at salary cap. I don't mind him in there as an option. But yeah, I think generally it was just once they started going, there were no stopping them. I mean, them two wingers are better than half at Super League's wingers, aren't they? Let's be honest. I mean,
they're both getting over Louis Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just they're both at the opposite ends of their game in terms of age. McGilvray is probably on that downward spiral, but Lachlan Walmsley, since his move, I mean, he was great at Whitehaven when he was there, moved to Halifax, that next level up club-wise, amazing, the improvement were there again. Then he's now moved to Wakey and he has just taken it that next level up as well, I think, which is obviously going to happen in a full-time environment.
And let's be honest, it was the right move to drop Daryl Alford.
Yeah, because we saw him in the semi-final where they had Worms on the bench and yeah, I think you've just
he was coming back off an injury and had one tackle and then hobbled because they brought him on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them where I think they'll struggle to get all three of them on the pitch at the same time this year. And what do they do with Alfords then? I mean, McGilvray is a sort of player that, if you're going away to if you're off up to Barrow or something, maybe you give McGilvray a weekend off. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them, innit? You can manage these players, but I think when you're coming down at grand final, end of year, or whatever you want to call it, £1 million game, Championship grand final.
The Shield match anyway.
Yeah. Well, I say the important match. It's not even bloody important match, is it, this year? Because we know who's coming up. But yeah, I think McGilvray, Walmsley will definitely be on the wings then.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. They probably are the 2 star wingers. I mean, that's probably it, isn't it, for the 1895? Because, like we say, it wasn't really a.
Oh, I mean, Sheffield's defending were awful in that second half. I'm not being funny, but it was just comical how bad. I mean, the Reds had gone, hadn't they? They were out of the game and they knew it, and just a bit sloppy. Bit of an embarrassment, I think, for the sport more than not. I know no one else were watching it because it was only on Super League Plus, so it wasn't like any new watch. Like you mentioned on the day, it wasn't like there was a load of new sort of viewers to the sport watching it. But like some of them tries in second half, it was just really soft, and you'd have thought they were playing a League One team at times. But that's been the case with Sheffield. I think they've shown dip recently in their ability to play for 80 minutes. So it'll be interesting going forward into the league now to see how that shakes up. Also, I mean, just wanted to touch on this because I thought about this the other day. We spoke about, and I made a joke on the day of the final about, who are Wigan playing next week because they'll probably have like the hangover of the cup win. Well, Wakey this weekend are playing Widnes, which is like top 2 playing against each other. Is that the potential banana skin?
Interesting.
Because Widnes, I know you're a lover of Widnes. I know that you are Tom Gilmore's big #1 fan, I think, aren't you?
Is that what I'm getting? Is that
you want him in halves with Croft, don't you? At Leeds.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say he's probably does a better job than Frawley at his game management. But hey, Frawley stepped up against Cass. You never know; it might be a new person.
I mean, I think I could step up against Cass, man. I'm not going to lie.
Well, maybe that is something that's up for debate, but
but yeah, I think that'll be an interesting game to look out for at the weekend in the Championship. And I think Wakey will lose a game in the league this season. I'd be very surprised if it's just that.
I'm still saying they won't.
Really, I think maybe they just go unbeaten until final and then Bradford do them. I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming.
That's wishful thinking that you're even the one in the final.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick any bloody bunch at minute, mate. Everyone's beating everyone, like apart from Wakey, you're just beating everyone. So
exactly.
Full stop. Yeah, I know, but to get to final, unless you get Wakey in semi, but it depends on. That's where seeding actually could come into it big time. Really. Thinking about it,
that is true. That's something I don't really consider.
Finishing second is going to be huge, really, or second or
the highest place of the.
Then it's when you get to the highest place. It's like just finish as high as possible, I guess. If you finish 5th or 6th, I think you're fucked because you're going to have to play Wakey before the final. Not
that it stopped the Broncos last year.
No, but they weren't playing Wakey, well, I'm not being funny, but like looking back now, I'm like. It's crazy that they actually. It's crazy, but it's also not like I'm actually angry because I'm like, why couldn't Bradford have just done that? Like it was so there for Bradford had the form and the team going into the playoffs. Like,
arguably, we're probably in a state where they could have beaten Cass and Hull and really made this year spicy. But of course, IMG have got rid of relegation.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, I'm going to say it, but we lost in Toulouse, and they went to Toulouse in big game and won. So you got to give credit there, and we did a lot of that back end of last season. Give them credit, but yeah, I mean, in terms of we'll move on to women now because obviously that was the opening game, which was a game that I don't watch too much women's rugby. I don't claim to, but it was a lot better quality than I thought it was going to be. But then I also felt that once Saints kind of got ahead, it was never gonna switch the other way, and that second half, we kind of we just got a bit tedious just because Saints are so good at managing the game out, and they just did nothing wrong. And then in that second, they were just defense were unbelievable, and just didn't give Leeds a sniff really. And it never looked like Leeds were going to score in that second half. So that's testament to Saints really, and how good they are, and they deserve the win on the day really.
Yeah, I agree with that fully.
Yeah, so
I think, quality is definitely improving in that game. Albeit, I do think we are probably being held back by the same three teams up the top. Wigan in a firm fourth place, and then the rest of them are busy beating each other, then getting blown out 80-odd-0 when they face one of the big boys. It's not in a great shape, the league, I don't think, yet for the WSL.
No.
I hope the others can step up rather than it tail off. But
yeah, because you're not improving the players. The good players obviously all play for them big clubs, but they're not improving by beating other teams 80-0 every week, apart from the weeks they're playing each other. Do you know what I mean? So you need to improve the other clubs to improve the competition, but also to improve the quality of the players. They need to be playing competitive games every week. Realistically. And it's just the difference between the top and the bottom of the league is probably similar to like a Super League team playing a League One team.
Arguably so, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, look at the score lines. Like, don't get me wrong, Wigan are like 10 times better than, I don't know, bloody Cass. And I know they have put a big score on them, so it might be a bad example. But they're not winning like 80-0 every week. Like Wigan aren't doing every team 80-0 every week, are they?
No, they're not doing the team in fifth, which would be what? Well, who even is fifth at the moment? Is it Catalan?
Yeah, that'd be a game where you probably expect to win, but it'll be a close game. It's got that bit of, hope could happen in it sort of game. Whereas, like, we saw Wigan played against Sheffield in Cup, and they didn't blow them out by any means, did they? They actually beat them by less than
Sheffield back on it. Well, yeah, that is true. What are we saying now? Wakefield are clearer than Wigan. Wakefield are true World Club champions. Is that what you're now saying?
I do think that Wakey team does probably beat a lot of teams in Super League now. I'm starting to think that number's growing. It's London, Hull, Cass as a block. And then I think on any day they could give like, I was going to say Leeds then, but I'm not going to say Leeds.
I'm going to say it's probably not Leeds. It's probably more like your lower three, isn't it? Yeah.
I think they could also we've seen with Salford and Lee, especially this year. Some weeks they look good, some weeks they look shit. If you catch them on a shit day, Wakey could beat them.
Yeah, potentially. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what they do next year with the England internationals.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially because you just know they're going to sign more as well. Like the fact that at this point we know they've signed them two, who else is going to come through? We're hearing rumours and things, but I think the more impressive thing is they've got players in positions ready. So, Lino's going to stay and he's going to be a halfback, and we know he can do it at that level. Wormsley, like we say, on the wing. They'll probably keep Jerry for next season on the wing. Probably need to bring in another winger. Or just one of the young up-and-comers. Or I wouldn't probably sign Alfords personally. Jowett, I think for me, I know Wakey fans absolutely love Jowett, and I get that because he's homegrown and he's a good fullback. I don't think he'd be like an upper echelon Super League fullback when they go up, but they're obviously going to keep him and he's fine there. No qualms about that. They need an hooker.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I don't know. I love Tommy Doyle, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he's, maybe he's a good second choice. Give him a shot in Super League. I think he's a player who deserves that shot, but I don't imagine Hood's going to be there next year.
No, so you imagine his time is up, and
yeah.
I mean, if I was running into Super League with Doyle as my starting 9 and no backup, then I'm probably a bit concerned.
Oh yeah, definitely. But they'll get. I think as a Wakey fan, you're confident that them decisions will be
Watch him
right.
announce bloody Darryl Clark or something stupid. They should get knocked flying into a chair and be like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah, I think they'll probably bring someone in from overseas or something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll
be Cruz Lehman's next club. He seems to be bouncing about like I don't know what.
I could see that. I could really see that.
I could, because I think O'Neill's nailed the 9 spot, and ultimately you question what Wigan actually need, given he can go 80 minutes.
Yeah, and Wigan have probably got another bloody 9 coming through academy who's like going to be a world-class hooker, aren't they, really? Let's be honest. Where their production line's going at minute, it's...
Well, the only thing they don't seem to be able to produce is centres, and arguably with Eckersley on the scene, there's another chance to put that right.
Yeah, Eckersley, he was great, wasn't he? And then they've also got probably 2 of the top 5 centres in the league anyway before that.
Yeah.
With Wardle, and I know you're a big Wardle guy.
I do rate Wardle highly, yeah.
You'd rate Wardle over like a Kefren or Kieran, however you want to say.
Yes.
If
he couldn't kick, then he'd be what? I don't think he'd get into the KR team.
Oh, come off it. That is a terrible take.
Single-handedly cost his team the final. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, how many games has bloody Peteku cost bloody KR by missing out conversions, mate? There you go.
No, he cost him by being at fullback rather than his kicking. I think he only kicked for the FC game, and then they decided, absolutely not, you are terrible at this.
Yeah, I guess. But I still think he's better.
But he might have kicked against us, actually, and they won that. So, again, it didn't cost him.
No, yeah, he kicked for them early games, definitely. But yeah, I think he's better than Gildart.
Hard to disagree on that one.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that was obvious one in my head. I thought I can get why you'd argue over 2, but you know, I think Hiku is a different sort of centre, but obviously he's more proven. And Opposite, I think, I don't know. I went into the season really high on Opposite, and then you watch him this season.
That's the one I think is probably not better than.
What, Opposite?
I think Opposite is probably the weakest of this bunch.
Ah, fair enough. Oh, well.
No, I quite like Gildart. I think he gives you a lot going forward. His defence can be a bit suspect, but aside from that,
yeah.
Whereas I think Kieran's the opposite. I don't think his defence is anything special, and I also don't think he's a special attacking threat. He just does a 7 out of 10 job every week, apart from the final when he decides to put in a 7 for Wigan. I forgot he was playing for Catalan.
Yeah, true, but I still think, for me, he's in that top 5 centres. I mean, yeah, I think he's good. But
yeah, who knows?
I don't know how we got onto that from bloody what? Talk about women's game.
No, neither do I.
So, do we want to move on to Bradford going on the charge to Super League and signing everyone?
What is this just the recruitment update more generally and start with, since you're clearly wanting to get your Bradford segment in, Sebi Kafifa, off you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's that Sebi Kafifa as alongside the sort of rumours, which we are recording this on Tuesday, the day before you're seeing this, so some news could have come out or some other stuff, and obviously that's why it's not included. But there seems to be a sort of thing of increased playing budget at Bradford next year. Really, it's coming out in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be really exciting signings and news. Potential of going to a full-time, part-time hybrid, getting back to that system, which can only be a positive, really, for a club going forward, and the sort of sustainability that we now should have to be able to do that. And then Sebi Kafifa is sort of the first person who's coming out at that, and I think that's a fine signing. To be fair, I don't think I saw it and I was like absolutely blown away by it by any means. Like, I think it's a great signing, but if we're going to make some sort of jump, or at least, like, let's say IMG, we're not in that conversation. We just miss out. We know we're going to be there or thereabouts in terms of like that 13-14 team in the IMG rankings, probably. Something mega's got to happen for us to get top 12 and knock Cass out. Cass have then sorted themselves out now, so it's just, I think we're not going to get Super League.
Well, we think they have.
Yeah, but I would be very surprised.
I think Toulouse are the big question mark more than anybody.
Yeah, Toulouse could easily drop out of that by their own choice. Toulouse are that sort of club where they just don't give a shit. Like, they honestly don't, and they are declining on the pitch because they're just not putting as much money into it or whatever. But I could see maybe if Toulouse knock out. But in my mind, I'm thinking we're going to be in the Championship next year. With the way the IMG is going to work and the way of you've got to progress off the pitch and on the pitch to then get promoted if they're doing it like that, I think if it's sustainable to do so, going and obviously hopefully the stadium gets sorted as well. Going in this sort of process of trying to be the best championship team, because if next season you can be that primary team going for the championship, who's like the favourite, and you can win that 2 years on trot, then you maybe start getting looked at as being a team. If FC collapse under Myler and Myler's just completely exploded club and they go bankrupt, then stuff like that. Like you've got to put yourself.
Is this you trying to segue onto our favourite topic of Hull?
Loosely, yeah. Because I don't want to ramble on about Bradford because it's really like it's not that big news. It's all
we're also supposed to be talking about a link to WikiFIFA, not the blooming stadium and IMG criteria.
Yeah, but it all linked. Ikefo's great. He's a good, solid middleweight. I'm not going to lie.
Right, take your Bradford hat on. Should take it off even. Should Huddersfield be getting rid of him?
Probably.
Right. Well, I'm going to go into the mindset of one of the 15 Giants fans and say no.
All right, go on then.
Not only is he Watson's little golden child who seems to follow him like a lost sheep, which unless that's telling me that he's going to Bradford next season, in which case, God help you if you do go up.
No, I think we've got the plan under him.
Unless he's sodding off to Super League instead.
Maybe that'll be
that. Might be doing a coach swap.
I think I could see that. I could see something like that happening. But
yeah, why Watson would get rid of him, I don't know. He's having a really good season. For me, it doesn't make sense to get rid. He's earned another year. I'd probably be looking to offer a 1+1 kind of thing with options on both sides for that second year.
Yeah. Oh, well, fair enough.
I certainly don't think he's championship level.
No, but that's what I'm saying about maybe we're trying to. I mean, we've seen players who are championship level playing championship.
I mean, that's true. It does open a new question of Ikefifa or Kai Rodwell.
Don't, because
let us know in the comments below.
I mean, I would take a Rebidoro every week over them both.
Well, so would KR.
Yeah.
And on that loose segue, we're going to Hull, just the other one.
Not KR.
No, I'm going to stick with FC, of course. FC are our favourite topic on this pod. Come on.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. We're obsessed.
So, obviously, we are recording this the day of Hull FC's statement regarding their recent acquisition of Treigh Stewart.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's...
Sorry.
It's fine. I mean, I'll read parts and paraphrase others. The club have been made aware of an incident of alleged domestic violence involving the player in Australia. Hull FC have therefore withdrawn the contract offer and confirmed he will not be joining the club. The club takes a strong zero tolerance policy on all forms of domestic violence and will make no further comment on the matter. Well, it's nice to see some positive club culture coming out of Hull, particularly given all the fireworks regarding the likes of Jayden Ockenbo signing.
Yeah, it seems like they've finally learned.
It seems to be that way because let's face it, they've had some dodgy club atmospheres going on at the moment. Things seem toxic there, and actually, by clamping down on that sort of culture, that's how you start changing things. Part 2 of that is pushing the bad apples on and being willing to let them go, even if they are some of your better players. But, you're only bound by so much of who's going to pay them or what contracts they've got.
Yeah. I just think maybe Myler did watch the 3-hour Johnny Lou pod or listen to the 3-hour Johnny Lou pod or however long it was. Because a lot of that we're talking about the club culture and specifically FC and how they've got that wrong recently.
Well, I think considering they also signed Amir Burra, who was on our How to Fix Hull FC, is Richie Myler our number one fan?
I mean
he has bought things from Harry's branch of Go Outdoors, so there is a link there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so, because, maybe do we need to give another recommendation? We need some outlandish now. What could he do? Which is like,
Richie, if you're watching, will you come sign some shirts? There you go. Then we'll know if he's watching.
I mean, he's not going to do that. We need something like subtle, but it's so niche. Like,
I can't say Hull FC to do kids for £1 because they've already announced that.
I mean, I know they've announced a lot of new contracts, like Lewis.
I
Martin.
slightly wonder if they've done a lot today to try and disguise this statement.
I think what you should do as a goodwill gesture, Richie Myler, because we're giving you all ideas, I would request that you fucking recall Jayden Ockenbaugh from his loan at Bradford, right? And send us.
He's trying to fix the culture, not make it worse.
Yeah, but I don't care.
If you're watching this, given there's some questionable form, I think it would be worth sending Liggy Sound to Bradford on an initial 2-week loan deal and then seeing what happens from there. Or if at any other championship club, you can go to your dual reg partners if you want to make it more subtle.
I'll take anyone, but just not. Just I don't even know. I don't even know. Maybe someone.
Maybe let an incoming.
What we haven't got enough fullbacks, have we?
You said you'd take anyone, so
yeah, but well, that'd be a good little setup, that wouldn't it? Playing both your wingers are fullbacks, so your back three is basically just all good.
3 fullbacks. No, what you want is 2 fullbacks and a Jayden Ockenbaugh.
Well, that's what we have now.
I know, and it worked last time.
No, it didn't because he can't catch.
You won. He scored.
Yeah, I mean. That's an all other story, is Jayden Ockenbaugh. I mean,
we're not visiting that one again.
No, we're not. We'll see how it gets.
Speaking of Hull, in the last few hours, well, this isn't really Hull anymore because I've kind of cut the ties already, but Tex Hoy is a Tiger until the end of 26.
Expected, I think that. We expected that sort of announcement because he's...
Would he move to a championship club?
No, that's what I mean. They've sorted themselves out, haven't they? The little bastards. So
Harry will be delighted.
Yeah. I think, don't get me wrong, Cass have sorted themselves out. Do I think that they could easily be rock bottom next year? Yeah. I think they'll be in that bottom 3 next year. I don't think they're making the moves that Wakey are making. I don't think they're at that level yet.
No, although I do think Hoy is an addition towards that. Because it was quite clear early on that it was a nice idea giving Hooley the 1, but at Super League level, it doesn't really work.
Well, we watched him other week for Batley, and it's like he's a good player, but he doesn't stand out in the Championship when he plays. So
I think the problem is as well, as much as that Leeds team last year severely underperformed, he did have better individual players around him.
Yeah.
Whereas coming into this cast team, which hasn't really got as many of those, it kind of exposes him a bit.
But what does this mean going forward for Hooley? Because don't get me wrong, you can have 2 fullbacks in your squad, that's fine. But then you've also got young Fletcher Rooney coming through, who actually.
I don't think he signed a particularly long contract in the first place.
Yeah, so I could see Hooley moving on because I think you potentially want to give Rooney some game time if there's an odd game where he can play. I think he looks a bright young lad. I mean, we saw him end of last year in that game against you lot.
Yeah,
and I know they've
got to give him it or they're going to go.
But he looked fine. He did nothing wrong, and under a lot of pressure as a fullback, you've got to kind of start bleeding them players in, similar to how Leeds are trying to do with Edgell and stuff.
What, by playing him at wing?
It's still his game.
And ironically, he outperformed Louis Roberts.
Yeah.
Mind you, he is a centre, not a winger. We must clarify that after we were explicitly told by members of his family he is a centre.
But he's played more games on wing than he has in centre.
He is a centre. That is the party line and we must not tow it.
Oh, my days. He's not.
This is the equivalent of £350 million for the NHS. It's a straight up lie. We all know it's a straight up lie, but we must plug it and put it on a bus.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a centre, then Jayden Ockenbaugh's a winger. Maybe that's the centre.
He is. You are playing him there. You see.
Yeah. Well,
Roberts knows best.
Well, there we go. But yeah, I think in terms of
Richie, if you want someone subtle to sign, you want Louis Roberts for the wing.
Can we do some way, sort of like freeway swap or something?
I don't want Ockenbar.
Who do you want?
What Bradford team? I'll swap you for the. I don't know. Who do I want? I'll take Jaden Myers if I've got to have. If I'm taking another back.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably take like Sker really because your props are underperforming this year.
Yeah, I mean, we do need a prop. I think Doro's gone, so I'll take.
You take because he's better than every one of your second rowers outside of Reece Martin, Zach Fulton. Plus,
I don't disagree that I won't take him. I am now thinking, do I think Fulton is better than McDonnell?
No, yeah, that's close. Different sort of second rowers, but
or Bentley.
Yeah.
Either way, yes, I would take him.
They're all probably same level. Maybe Fulton might be just a bit below him. Obviously, you haven't played Super League, so you don't know. But I think Fulton's got such a high ceiling.
Yeah, he does look.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. If we are losing a hooker, then I won't say no to suit with the Scooter as backup.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Maybe just take Lily. All Bulls fans are like, take Lily. They all hate him.
Well, we haven't got a good 7, so you know.
Yeah, but Bulls fans don't think he's a good 7. So
well, I've told you we'll swap.
Yeah.
You can have Frawley. I don't mind, honest. One game against Cass, I haven't changed my mind yet.
Yeah, well,
he needs a few of them. If he does the same this upcoming week against Hull FC, as much as it's another lower end of the league team, we will talk. Because then at least that's 2 games where he's looked like he can manage his own life, let alone a rugby game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And then hopefully if he strings together a few good performances now, then, you know. But is he doing that? Is he going to do that? And then you're not going to move him on or try and move him on. You're going to be happy with him. And then
I don't think I think if he does that, you probably don't move him on this year and you just don't renew him. And if he actually starts pulling his weight, I can live with that. Because realistically, you can't change this team overnight because there's too many things going wrong. And, you know, obviously Leeds have appointed Ian Bleed as sporting director. He will know that. But I can guarantee number 7 will be one of the key names on his list, considering what Mark Sneyd does at Salford versus what Matt Frawley does at Leeds.
Well, yeah, Mark Sneyd is Salford's most important player.
I would arguably say he's the best number 7 in the country.
In terms of pure 7, yeah, I would agree.
Yes. Not in terms of who has 7 on his back, because in which case Mikey Lewis enters the chat because he can't wear 6 because KR retired it.
Yeah, true. And then even like a Harry Smith is a different type of 7 in a different type of system. Doesn't have to do the same sort of stuff that Sneyd does. I think Sneyd's a sort of player that can make a bad team good. And I think he's doing that at Salford. Like, you know, look at the Stars that
I wouldn't say they were a bad team, but he's certainly dragging them to above where you would expect.
Yeah, on paper, not a bad team, but like no superstars is what I mean. Like
you wouldn't have said they make playoffs, whereas obviously currently they're in the playoffs. Yeah, I know what you mean.
They can be in and around there, and he can win a game single-handedly with it, not just with his kicking off of the tee. His in-game kicking is probably the best in the comp, really.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly up there.
He's going to be one of them players who... Is he going to be like one of the best players to never win the grand final? Like a Danny Brough type? When we do another one of them videos in like 10 years' time.
Maybe that's what we need to do in a future pod. The best player never to win a grand final.
Well, we did the video. Did we not do the video back 3 years ago?
Yeah, but I think times have changed since then.
Who else is going to have been in that?
Chris Wellham.
I need to find this video now. Chris Wellham has not won a grand final, but he's been in a grand final.
Well, so has Mark Sneyd.
Yeah, I know that.
Well,
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying.
All right.
Sorry, I've realised that were very counter, whatever the word is from me. Sorry, I'm
passive aggressive.
Not passive aggressive, but like
Callum bringing the pass ag to the pod today.
I need to try and find this video because I remember recording it.
I need to try and think of something to fill the gap, which normally I don't have any problem doing, but.
So let's see. Bloody hell, we did a video. This is going to be a little fun thing for you new pod listeners. We did a video on the 5th of September 2020, right? titled "Is the Championship Catching Up with Super League?" And the main quotes I'd put on the thumbnail were York City Knights pull off coup to sign Danny Kermont and Danny Brough, Wakefield's former man of Steels, agrees 2-year deal at Bradford Bull.
How did that work out for you?
To be fair, we were really good when we had him, but I think it ended with him and Lily having a fist fight in changing rooms.
Oh, at least he didn't end up with a big dental bill like Miles Lawford did.
Well, I know. It seems like we've got a bit of an history with that. Right? I still ain't got to that video that I'm looking for.
I enjoy watching videos. This was back when we were supposedly back and then disappeared after 2 weeks.
Yeah, so here we go. So the 5 best players to never win Super League. 1st of May 2021.
Plug myself back into the light, given it's got darker than Callum's last 10 years watching Bradford.
Oh God! But yeah, so yeah, it didn't do that well. But I mean, that was back then. Not a lot did. Now I think we could do something similar in it.
Thanks for not blowing us up back then, guys.
Yeah, 3 years ago that was.
That's mad.
So maybe we can rehash a version of that. Although even then, I mean, the Where Are They Now video did amazing back then, and then now we did one and it didn't do well. So it's like you just can't call it, can you?
Yeah, but I don't like that anymore. Times have moved on.
Yeah, but I mean, generally, I mean, if you are still listening even to this podcast at like the 40-minute mark now, we do appreciate the support on the podcast and the videos on a Saturday as well, because some of them have blown up and done really well. And even the other ones that aren't, we appreciate, even if it's just 100 viewers. Like, we still know that there'll probably be the same 100 people watching it, watching everything that we do. And we appreciate that and the support and stuff like that. And give us ideas as well, because, you know, we're open to ideas. We've not exactly got a backlog at the minute, have we, actually? We probably need to get
Well, that's because we slack at recording them. It's not that we've not got a backlog of ideas.
Yeah, yeah, we've got ideas, but we don't have sort of like as much of a plan in place, which maybe we could do. But that's because we want you guys to give us suggestions and stuff. So see what you want.
And I've actually got to do some research for this Saturday's video, and it involves me having many tabs open and many scripts. And
yeah, so this is basically he's going to give me like a 20-minute video to edit.
I won't go for 20 minutes. I think a solid 17 and a half.
And I know why it's 17 and a half as well. Do you want to tell?
I don't think so. My introduction will not be 30 seconds long.
Do you want to tell them what it is? Because I mean, if there is
in case it sounds crap and I do a Friday PM re-record of something else like the other week,
which probably will happen as well. So yeah, this is just
a bit of an
insight.
The good thing is you guys don't know which one that was that went to shit and was a last-minute rehash.
Yeah, true. I mean, this is a bit of insight into the sort of shit that I have to deal with. As what would my title be? Producer, editor.
I don't know. Creative says no.
And then you're the ex, formerly Twitter admin.
I thought you said X like I've been dumped from the pod then. I'm like, is this my farewell? And I don't even know it.
No.
If so, stop recording the Saturday one.
No, but is there what else you wanted to touch on this week?
No, I think we will end it on a quote from one of our viewers, fans, maybe, of bloody hell, you didn't do anything for years, and now if you could go to Hollywood next week, you would. That is apparently the resurgence of the pod.
Who said that?
Who do you think?
Oh, Harry.
Of course.
I mean, if you'd have said this is a quote from Harry, I'd have ended recording now because I know some of the stuff he's come out with in these past few weeks.
Oh no, I kept it. I've left the non-PG bits out.
yeah. But no,
which is ironic given he's nowhere to be seen.
I don't think what last time we saw him on pod. I mean, it was probably the Halifax logo on it, but
I think so. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Just stop selling cagoules.
Yeah, and stop wearing.
Nobody needs more cagoules, Harry. You're only going to get to go to these games once.
Although coming up, the Toulouse is coming up, so he'll be in that.
Oh yeah, that's you too, isn't it? I've got the week off for that one.
Yeah, I'll have to find. If I find him, God, I'm going to see him in some sort.
Just start searching random bars. He'll be
Oh
in
no, I
one
will
of them.
meet up with him and have a drink and stuff. But I want to make sure that when I do, he's like absolutely past it, so we can get some iconic Harry dancing in nightclub videos.
Yeah, but the problem is, by the time that, and he's probably moved somewhere that you wouldn't want to take your missus.
Ah, put her to bed.
I don't think she'll be very happy in that scenario.
She won't have got this far in listening to podcast bit, so I'll be all right, I think.
This is where you just where we press stop record, the door opens, and you just get death stared like something from a horror film.
But no, I'm looking
We should
forward
probably
to that.
stop rambling about our own lives now because they don't care.
Oh, maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, Toulouse trip incoming. That's coming up soon.
Whitehaven on Sunday. You guys are seeing none of it, but you know we're there.
Yeah,
apparently,
we'll be there. Yeah.
Supposedly 3 of us, maybe 4. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, find out what I've got in store. That's apparently 17.5 minutes long on Saturday, and
yeah, it doesn't usually last that long.
Well, that the fact you know that makes that sound even weirder.
Yeah, I know, but well,
right. On that image, I'm just leaving.
Yeah,
I'm tempted to just press hang up now.
But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, all listening, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.